Welcome to another edition of Built in the Borderland. I am Robert Holguin. I hope that all of you had a safe and wonderful Christmas holiday. We are closing out 2020 with some interesting conversations on this week's show. First, we're talking about an effort to build a statue commemorating famed Mexican President Benito Juarez. It would be the fourth installment of the 12 Travelers series of monuments. It's been in the works for years, but it's getting closer to becoming a reality. I am also talking to one of my favorite musicians of all time, Texas troubadour David Garza. He has a brand new record, a record that was made during the pandemic under unconventional circumstances, but it's a thing of beauty nonetheless. And we will revisit a conversation that I had with filmmaker Ramon Villa. He has just been awarded a grant from the Austin Film Society for his documentary, Disrupted Borders. So we'll learn more about that important project. So let's dive in to this week's edition of Built in the Borderland. We begin this week with something of a local history lesson. The 12 Travelers Memorial of the Southwest is a nonprofit organization based here in El Paso. Their mission is to build 12 bronze statues that each represent a turning point in Southwest history. They've already built 3. There is, of course, the equestrian at the El Paso airport. I've already addressed the controversy surrounding the statue in an earlier episode. Then there is Susan Shelby McGoffin at Keystone Heritage Park and Fray Garcia de San Francisco in downtown El Paso. Now, the 12 Travelers Committee is focused on this, a statue of Benito Juarez. It would be located at the Chamizal National Memorial. I recently sat down with 2 women who are directly involved in bringing this project to life, Adair Margot and Kenna Ramirez. And I asked them, why Benito Juarez?
You know, Benito was a shepherd, and he lost one sheep. So he was so afraid they were going to punish him. He walked barefooted to one of his uncle's house, and one of the Franciscan priests took him in because he saw he was very intelligent, and he educated him. So he has a wonderful story to tell.
Renowned sculptor John Hauser started work on this project along with his son Ethan. Now, John Hauser died in 2018. His son continued the work on this maquette, which is a mock-up of the sculpture. It depicts Juarez as the boy who walked 30 miles from his native village to Oaxaca City seeking an education. The boy sits next to his adult counterpart, Juarez, as the president of Mexico, who established a temporary seat of government in the border town of Paso del Norte, which was later renamed in his honor, Ciudad Juarez.
There's so much history tied to that, but the fact that he lived there, he was invited to El Paso when he lived in Juarez, and he would not leave his country while his country was occupied by invaders. And so I give tours of Juarez until COVID hit. I was giving tours of Juarez, but I always take them to the Presidencia Municipal, which is very close to where he had his carriage and kind of governed. It was the capital of Mexico at that time, but there are murals of Benito Juarez up there. And so this complements that. He also provided freedom of religion in Mexico. He allowed Protestant missionaries into his country. So it's so fascinating. Lydia Patterson School here, that's tied to all of that history.
The 12 Travelers Committee is currently in the process of raising money to make the Juarez statue a reality.
So it's not just to create monumental art, it is about the history of El Paso. And it's taken also 10 years, and we're still in the process of doing it. So this is not something that comes, like, do it right, 1 year and it's done. This takes a lot of time, a lot of research, and it is a long process.
This is about education. It's about an impoverished Zapotec Indian boy who was a sheep herder, and through the kindness of someone, he earned an education. It's all about education. It's got a book in it. It's something that hasn't gone away in our city, a first generation, and wanting people to be able to become all they want to be. So you've got this great example of Benito Juarez. So if you have a mom who was a teacher, or you remember a favorite teacher, if you give $1,000, you get your name on a plaque. You can honor someone permanently for all time in a living bronze that will be here after all of us are gone.
This is very inspiring to anyone. Anyone can get educated and can achieve their dreams. He became the best president of Mexico, and he walked barefooted to be educated. What more do you want from a wonderful story?
Coming up after the break, a musical interlude, a conversation with acclaimed artist, musician, producer David Garza. He is talking to us about his brand new record. Stay with us.